Over the years, many people have called me who've tried all the 101 other approaches to their emotional well-being that exist out there. I've had people who've spent decades, literally, in fortnightly therapy, people who've been to 100 weekend seminars, people who've tried everything left, right and centre. And these people ask me, so what's different about this exactly? What am I going to get out of it, even though I've tried all of these other approaches, yet I still feel like I'm a bit stuck, like there's something still missing for me, and I know I can feel a bit better or be more freed up. Well, there's two main things I usually say to these people. One is, the emotional component of our process can never be underestimated. And unfortunately, there's many therapies who claim and promise you can have magical bullet type results without having to go into any old messy and uncomfortable emotions. Therapies that simply by someone doing something to you from the outside, energetically or through body work, will enable you to experience deep transformation. Now, I'm inclined not to quite be much of a believer in these approaches, because the way I've found we really work is our emotional layers are actually defense structures to deep systems and layers of beliefs about ourselves. And we need to actually take the emotional layers off bit by bit before we have access to deeper thinking and deeper patterns of conditioning in our unconscious mind. And the way it actually works is to go even more deeply into this explanation. The emotional layers themselves have their own defenses. So for example, anger, even though it's a very valid emotion, just as valid and important as love is to actually let ourselves in on and experience, for most people anger is actually a defense. So most people have to do a fair bit of going through anger, which is a defense holding in a deeper heart wounding of grief. So people find they go through layers of anger, then they go through layers of grief, then they'll actually hit layers of fear, guilt, shame. And once all of these are released, they finally have access to a very fundamental level of thinking that's always running their decision making and their behavior. So many people have done seminars, therapy, different approaches where they would have gotten a fair degree of mental level understanding, but because they haven't released a lot of emotions, this mental level understanding may not be deep enough and may not be at a level of influence over their behavior enough for them to actually be free of certain patterns of thought or certain behavioral patterns. And this is what they find they receive through this defense displacement technique. Another thing that occurs is some people access very deep fundamental layers of thought and belief about themselves, yet they still find themselves being driven and at the mercy of these beliefs. And in those cases, what's missing is also the emotional release, because beliefs such as something's wrong with me, I'm not good enough, I'm not wanted, not worthy, these beliefs have a massive equivalent of electromagnetic energy charge of emotion, keeping the beliefs alive, giving the beliefs energy to actually keep running your behavior and influencing your thinking and feeling states. So until you actually release the anger, the grief, the fear, shame and guilt, which keeps beliefs such as I'm not good enough, or I'm not worthy, I'm not lovable alive, these beliefs are going to keep on running you, and they're going to still dictate how you think and feel at the end of the day. So that's another thing people experience as a point of difference with this approach to treatment. Another thing people can experience with us is we view individuals as very differently in what they need as far as the approach necessary for them to heal. Even though these two techniques, the defense displacement technique and the behavioral decision processing technique, are the primary approaches we use, what we also bring into play is the 5 main defense structures. And this is also what's missing in many people's emotional healing processes. Because you see, our mind is very slippery and cunning. I'm sure you'd have experienced moments where even though you really want to see what's running you, and even though you really want to deal with it, you may catch your mind being very slippery, and you may find yourself rationalizing, justifying, and sort of find your mind evading capture. Now, these are the defenses at work. The defenses are just automatic in all of us. And what we use is, we use a categorization of the defense structures, and we very quickly deduce what particular defenses are protecting these deep pockets of old emotional pain and influential thinking in your unconscious mind. And this way we get to tailor-make and customize the treatment for your particular defense type. This is both what we do on an individual basis and what we do on our residential programs. Because my belief is, it's no surprise people can be in a room full of 20 to 50 to even 200 other participants wanting to heal, yet will only experience a week or two, a momentary experience of lifting their load, and then they'll find themselves going back into old ways of feeling and thinking. It's obvious. It's a case where everyone's different, and one approach doesn't actually work for the one single same approach cannot possibly work for everyone in the room. So our programs are very customized and very tailor-made to the individuals. We take no more than 20 people at a time, and we have one good, experienced practitioner who is versed in these defense structures and the ways to approach particular defense structures, and of course our primary treatment techniques. We have one of these practitioners per 2 participants. That way you can be rest assured you get all the support and attention you need to make sure you get the healing and the inner transformation you need to transform your whole world.